Okay, so I was assigned Revelations, which is a Korean film directed by Yeon Sang-Ho, and it is a movie about a lot of things. It's mostly a thriller and a mystery, but there's also some elements of the supernatural in it. Basically, the movie is about a youngish pastor who starts getting visions, and there's another character who is an escaped convict, or I guess he's been paroled, but he's a former killer who stumbles into his church one day. The two characters have a sort of interaction. And then there's a third character, which is a police detective, a female police detective whose sister was victimized by this former convicted killer. And so the premise basically is that this pastor starts getting divine revelations from God or from some entity, which basically instructs him to not only lead this new church, but to also capture and kidnap this former criminal. And basically, the detective is sort of thrown in the mix. On the one hand, she certainly wants to enact revenge against this guy that brutally murdered her sister. But on the other hand, there's another girl that goes missing, and she wants to follow the law. This was an interesting movie. I really liked the opening 30 minutes of it. I thought it did a nice job of kind of setting up each of the characters in this kind of unique situation. Ultimately, though, I kind of felt like the movie went sort of all over the place. I mean, you get these, again, mystical visions. You get this killer on the loose sort of thing. You get the abducted girl. You get the pastor and his wife is cheating on him, but then that's never really paid off. We get a cool sort of survival sequence with a guy who's thrown off the ledge at one point, and then we get a sort of Denis Villeneuve Prisoners-esque scene in an abandoned building where the characters kind of have a tete-a-tete, even though one of them is tied up. Ultimately, there is an abduction victim who is found through the great police work of the detective, and I don't know, I just kind of feel like I've seen it all before. There's an interesting movie. It kind of went on for a while, a little too long. And I just kind of felt like, again, the supernatural stuff felt more like a plot gimmick or a means by which to make the pastor character a little bit more insane, which was kind of a convenient out for this kind of otherwise sort of ordinary character. I'm at 2.5 stars. It wasn't the worst thing I've seen, but the screenplay, I don't know, at its best, it felt like Memories of Murder. Maybe just take out the supernatural element of it. But certainly any movie that comes from Korea is going to, be notable. I like the actors in it, but to me, it was just a little bit too all over the place. Need a little more focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I know Todd had probably shared similar thoughts, I would imagine, based off rating. I'm a little higher on this one. I really like this director because he has directed like Train to Busan, that franchise, and one of the first zombie movies that came out of Korea. And one of my favorite acting performances also the Shin Hyun Bin, the female detective. She's like one of my favorite performances this year. But yeah, I agree. This is one that has not stayed with me as much as I wanted it to. So I probably was really high on it when I first saw it, but I was always curious to hear other people actually talk about it because it's something we hadn't actually discussed on the podcast yet. But whenever you make like when this director does something, I definitely want to check it out because I think he's talented. I think he has some good ideas and he has some good spectacle to his films as well. And always has some fun stuff. So yeah,